Welcome to part one of a two-part series on Karmann Ghia rear seat reupholstery. In this video, I'll be tearing down a pair of factory original rear seats so we can see how it was done and how to recreate them with new materials. So behind me is the back seat to a Karmann Ghia. That is the backrest portion. There are two pieces. There's the bottom and there's the backrest. They are made out of wooden frames, and basically what they would do is they would take some cushioning material made out of coconut fiber, and then they would put upholstery over that, and they would just staple on top. So it sounds like a simple thing to recreate with new upholstery, but it's actually a little more complicated than that for two reasons. One, if you're a novice, it's complicated. There's going to be a learning curve. And two, originally the way they put it on was quite detailed. So in this video, I'm going to try to document how they originally put these things together. So let's see how that's done. I've already started removing the upholstery from one side. And in doing so, I discovered how it's put together and in what order. So what I want to do is take this side apart as well, show you the order in which it was stapled on, and then it can be recreated by doing it in the reverse order. So this is the last piece of vinyl that gets stapled in place, and I've marked the staples on the back of the wood. So I'm going to pull these off first. And I know this is the last piece to get stapled because it overlaps this bottom section and it overlaps the top section. So I'm just going to yank the vinyl back. So I'm pulling these out. Pull this off. Now I'm going to flip the seat over. So this is the front of the seat. And this portion of the seat is where, when the seat is laying flat, when it's folded down on its hinges, fits into the body, the notch in the bottom of the back seat. If we look at this intact backrest, I was wondering how this is attached, because if it was just stapled in the back, there would be nothing holding this long corner in place along the length of the frame. And it's pretty cool the way they did that, and I'll show you. Under here, this portion of the upholstery is stapled to the wooden frame. And it's stapled really tight so that this portion of the upholstery, which sits on the padding, sits upright. This is sort of vertical and this is horizontal. And underneath, this is stapled directly to the wooden frame. So if we go to the top, I'm flipping it over now. This is the top of the seat. And the vinyl curves around this portion of the wood and is stapled in three places. It's like cinched over so that it curves over the wood. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that this beading falls along the corner perfectly. So once you have that along here, you would staple the upholstery on top. And then the next thing that gets stapled is the underside, all along here, all these rusty staples that you can see. It's hidden when this is rolled over and stapled onto the back of the frame. And then after that, what they did was they folded this corner. So let me pull these out. So in this corner, what they did was they cut a notch in the upholstery. They cut a notch out. And if I pull the bottom off, bottom folds over this piece. So what they did was, I tore this by accident when I was taking this apart. But basically what you're going to do is you're going to cut a notch in the upholstery in like a V shape here, a wide V. And then you're going to take your scissors and you're going to cut that into two pieces. This folds over first. And this goes over next, and two staples go in. A staple goes in on the bottom, and a staple goes in the back. And then, if you look along, this is the bottom of the seat. This upholstery staples in, and it covers this piece. And then, this is the last piece of upholstery that goes over. This folds over the edge. And I believe 1, 2, 3 upholstery nails. So there's one upholstery nail there, upholstery nail, upholstery nail. And I believe this is the last section that gets nailed in here, and then all these are stapled along the edge. And that, in a nutshell, is how this thing was put together. So if you can reverse engineer that and you have a new set of quality upholstery, then you can install your seat. The problem I'm having with this is that the wood underneath here is rotted. This was made out of particle board, and since this is from 1967, it's long since fallen apart. So I have a friend who is a carpenter, and he's gonna rebuild this for me and fix it. So basically underneath is the coconut fiber pad. There's some felt on top of it, and underneath is the wooden frame. So this is what the coconut fiber pad looks like once you've removed it from the seat and the frame. And this is the back of the coconut padding, and there are some raised panels built into it that fit into the wooden frame, which I'm gonna have to build up with sheets of upholstery foam. Okay, so this beauty right here is the rear seat bottom. Underneath is the original fiber cushion, which they don't make this for the Ghia anymore. You can get this for Beetle seats, but you can't get this for the Ghia unless you maybe like buy fiber for a bus seat and then cut it to size. So here's the back of the seat, and again, it's just basically a piece of wood with some cushioning and vinyl stapled on top of it. And the interesting thing is that this V-shaped wedge here is the portion that fits over the center tunnel of the car. You're looking at this from upside down, so the inspection cover for the tunnel would be right about here. And the fiber cushioning that goes inside the bottom of the seat has a cutout to fit this wedge. So if I do replace this with foam, I'm gonna have to figure out a way to cut this out or to build it up with different pieces of foam. The other thing is there's a piece of metal in here, a metal bar that is bolted here and here, and this metal bar fits around and it gives the seat support over the tunnel when this is installed. What I want to do is recreate how this was assembled. Like there's some twine stitches here, and then there's a triangular piece of vinyl that gets stapled over this. Because in this corner, interestingly, the wood ends here and the wood ends here. This piece, this section, is just the coconut fiber cushioning. The vinyl's wrapped around it, but this corner here has no backing to it. This is also narrower, like there's a cutout inside here as well that when I replace this material or with foam, I'm gonna have to figure out a way to sculpt that out of the foam. So what I'm gonna do right now is start pulling these staples out, and we're gonna see what's doing. This is a very exciting moment. Okay, so when you do this, you have to be careful because these staples aren't really coming out all the way. So what I don't want to do is poke my finger. Make sure you're up on your immunizations for tetanus so you don't give yourself a nasty disease. Okay, so now we're getting to the interesting section. Underneath here, this is originally just tucked over. There is a metal bar in here. They just literally tuck this fabric, vinyl fabric, over the bar, and that's it. So that I will sand down and repaint. Pull out this corner piece. Try to preserve this as best I can in case I need to use it as a pattern for a piece of vinyl to go in the corner. So I will save this. Carefully put it over here. So in the corners you'll notice that there's some twine that's been sewed in to sort of connect these two layers. So this is the back of the seat. This is a separate piece from the side, and the way they joined this together was just by sewing these two ends together. They pull out this thread and see how they did that. this out. Don't have any scissors, so I'm going to use these nimble nose pliers. Okay, so that was pretty exciting. So they literally just folded this edge, and they folded this edge, and they just sewed it together. I'm going to try to leave this intact so I can get a closer look at how this was stitched, in case I do decide to stitch the new upholstery material. Okay, so now I'm going to slip this out of the frame. Lift that up. See what's underneath. See what all the fuss is about. Wait, still stuck here in the corner. I've actually sat in the backseat of a Karmann Ghia while I was going down the road, and I can tell you it's very cramped and it's very uncomfortable. It's really only suitable for children. Sit back there. Here we go. That is it. This is the frame, and it's actually in surprisingly good condition. Like I said, it's just a piece of plywood. There's actually two sections that go around like a big letter U, and then there's the metal bar that's sitting on top. And I'm glad that this is in good condition, because that means I don't have to buy a new one or try to rebuild it. And if we look underneath, there's a piece of vinyl that sits here to keep the fiber from disintegrating and falling through to the inside of the car. So I will use this as a pattern because I have some black vinyl that I'm going to use. Let's see what else is going on inside of this thing. I'm seeing now that this is actually, it's more than just a wedge of cushion. It's actually sculpted. It's sculpted to fit inside that frame. And there's a wedge sculpted in here, and even in the corners, it's sculpted. So what I'm gonna have to do is buy a piece of foam, and I'm gonna have to mold and sculpt to try to recreate this. And then, if we look here closely, I really can't make out if there's a date on here, but there is a part number, 14311411137. Well, good luck at the Volkswagen dealership asking them to look in their parts bin and sell that to you, because they won't even know what you're talking about. And the more I look at it, the more I think, could I reuse this thing? Is that even possible? It kind of smells bad. It smells mildewy. And when I touch it, it flakes off and disintegrates. So maybe there's a way to preserve it, but I think I'm going to replace this with new upholstery foams.
In part 2, I'll go over sculpting new foam to replace the original cocoa fiber and how to attach your new upholstery. So if you want your seats to look as awesome as mine, don't miss part 2, or you'll be driving around with some old torn up mess in your backseat.
It's a waste of money and a waste of time. Italian